Hello, all you amazing people. Welcome to the video. And in this video, I'm going to talk about one of the visual symptoms of depersonalization or derealization, which is feeling like you're in a video game. I'm going to talk about why that's happening, what's actually going on in your mind to create that feeling, and stick around to the end because I'm going to give you some things that you can do to start to overcome this feeling. Why does DPDR make it feel like a video game? When you have been under prolonged stress or are having uncontrollable anxious thoughts, or you've been anxious for a long time, your mind will actually start to let you know about this. And it could be in the form of a stress headache or aching muscles. And if this goes on for long enough, your body will start to do more things to protect itself. If you've been particularly anxious or have been under prolonged stress, then the mind is going to perceive this as a bit of a threat. And if that threat goes on for long enough, then it's going to do what the mind does, which is protect itself. This protection can take the form of disconnecting you from your emotions, essentially so you don't freak out and you're able to get away from the scary thing. It can make everything seem numb or distant. And again, this is to help you escape. And usually all this happens in the moment of a traumatic event, and you're so busy fighting or fleeing that you don't actually notice it. Sometimes the fight or flight can get stuck on. And obviously, back in the day, if you were getting chased by a lion, then you're not going to have time to sit around and think, oh, I'm slightly disconnected from my emotions, or oh, the world feels like a video game. You're just going to be running. But in today's world, obviously, that's not happening. So you do have time to notice this stuff. If you're not fighting or fleeing, you have time to notice it. As most of the things we're scared of today don't involve tigers chasing us, we have time to feel and experience our body's unusual coping techniques, and they scare the heck out of us. When the body is in fight or flight mode, it'll heighten your senses. So your eyes will work better to make everything sharp and crisp, but your brain will try and detach you from your surroundings. And this can make things look and feel very strange, like a video game, but not in a fun way. So this feeling of being like in a video game, it is just a symptom of the DPDR, and there's nothing wrong with you. You're not going crazy. If anything, your eyes and your mind is working perfectly, but you just haven't experienced this before. So it might feel like that things aren't really normal. It's just a symptom. And while it might be really hard to accept that, you need to do your best to realize that's all it is. Right now, you're anxious or really stressed about something, and it could even be the symptoms themselves. So your brain is doing its job and protecting you. Once you start to process the anxious thoughts, which will let your subconscious know you're safe, the mind will no longer have a reason to protect itself, and everything will return back to normal. So you'll no longer be in a video game. Obviously, the symptom of feeling like you are in a video game is a really scary and just maybe annoying or just a really uncomfortable thing. And obviously, you don't want it there. But you really have to realize that it's just your mind doing what the mind does. And this is the key, really, because once you start to identify perhaps what is stressing you out, what you are anxious about, then you can actually go through and start processing that. And that is going to eventually just make the symptoms go down and down and down. A way to help you process it is to first identify perhaps what actually is making you anxious. So if you don't have this sort of video game feeling like full on 24 hours a day, if it ebbs and flows or gets better or worse, then when it does start to get worse, perhaps pinpoint some of the times or thoughts that you're having when that happens. So for example, if you're completely fine in your house, but when you go outside, then the video game feeling starts to happen, then you're starting to narrow it down in regards to, well, maybe it's something outside. It's like a detective thing almost. So you can go, well, what is it about outside? Okay, well, do you notice that it happens stronger when you go outside and you have to go and meet people, but it happens a little less when you go outside and you just go to the beach? So, okay, well, that means that maybe it's some kind of social thing that's going on. So it might be that you're feeling down and you don't feel like socializing, but you have to go, and that's sort of freaking you out. So then again, you can do a bit more detective work and say, well, why is that freaking me out? Well, because I have to feel like I have to give 100% and I have to be there for everybody. So perhaps that's a rule you've set for yourself. Perhaps that's something you've said to yourself. So then you can question that and go, well, do I have to please everybody? Is that even practically humanly possible? And then maybe you'll come to the realization of, well, it's not. I have to acknowledge that I'm feeling a little bit down right now and I'm not going to be at 100% with people. So maybe that will ease the anxiety of going out and meeting people, which will sort of ease the stress and anxiety you're going through, which will ease the symptom of being like you're in a video game, and maybe it won't feel as strong next time. So you can see how it's a bit of detective work here. You sort of got to dive a little bit deeper and not think on such a surface level. So the more you go deeper, the closer you're going to get to the truth of what's actually going on. And once you get to the truth of what is happening, and it might be one or two, 10 things, doesn't really matter. But then you have that knowledge and you have that awareness. And with that awareness and knowledge can come change as well. And the change is what's going to bring about the whole end to all this horrible DPDR stuff that you're going through. And eventually, the more you process, the less and less it's actually going to have an effect on you, until you get to a point where you just notice that you've had a whole week and everything just feels completely normal. If you would like to chat about your DPDR and what you're going through with it with me, then please reach out to me. My contacts are in the description of the video. You can get hold of me on either Facebook or Instagram, or leave a comment or book a discovery call, whatever you feel is best for you. And let's have a chat about some of the things that you can start doing to help you overcome your DPDR, what you're going through, and all that other type of stuff. And until next time, everybody, I will see you all in the next video. Bye.